Hey hey. I want me to do the drum? No, I'm not gonna do it because it's late over here where I'm making this video. But I wanted to, let's see, we've got a little glare going on. Let me try to fix that a bit. All right. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I know I'm not making the videos like I used to, and I apologize for that, but I am actually extending their length because I know that I'm not going to be able to make so many as I used to. I just got a few more things on my plate these days, and so I'm spending a little more time trying to create more informational video that's going to talk about a few things. But this is the third installment on these Seraph Artificials. And I may even have to make another one if I don't cover all the things that I want to cover in this video. But first, I want to remind everyone about the two videos before this one. The lady clothed with the sun, moon, and rainbow, Magdalene's revelation to those of the era of the last days. And that's basically what this video is still about, because in that video, she showed Sarah some things that was going to be going on in the last days, and it had to do with these crafts coming out of the ocean and going into outer space. And the Magdalene said that they're Seraph Artificials, they got human servants that do their bidding. They have promised these human servants um, artificial immortality. The reason why it's artificial immortality is because we're all immortal souls. And if we knew about reincarnation and how we change bodies like we change garments, we wouldn't have any hesitation into refusing what is going to be offered to us during this sixth trump. And that's what else this is all about, the sixth trump and the mark of the beast. And we're told in the Holy Megillah that it is a code that's written on your brain that connects your brain to this master brain that existed before this world even came into existence. Like I said, Lucifer attacked, and it's not like I said, it's like I read in the Megillah that Lucifer attacked this realm before the tree of life was even planted. He was trying to prevent the tree of life from being planted. Okay? And I want to show you guys in the King James, we're warned about this as well. But you have to be a really deep diver. You have to really be studying real hard, taking that King James back to the Hebrew, the Greek, and the Chaldean language in order to get this deeper message. Thanks to the pastor I had, Pastor Arnold Murray. He's transitioned now, and I know he's up there or back out here. I don't know, but he was a soldier, man, and literally he was a soldier. He's the one who prepared me, not me personally, but from studying with the Shepherd's Chapel, I understood that there were this fallen angels is what they are called, and that they uh, are not from here and they came here. And so now that I've read in the Megillah, the Magdalene's revelation, she went into depth about them all throughout the Megillah. And there's also a chapter 47 that I'm going to read from tonight, and it's the story of Baelzebub. And that is also on my channel too. The title of that is Sheba Tells the Story of Pistis Sophia. And in that video, and in a little bit of what we're going to cover tonight, let me start trying to pull it up. It tells us that Beelzebub was an Abram. Now, if you don't know what an Abram is, you're going to have to do a little research. Of course, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it when we read chapter 47, where Sheba tells us who Beelzebub and the Seraphim are. So, in the early days of the mother ovum, First Spark reported that many were suffering beneath the dark deposition of Beelzebub, who masqueraded as God in the galaxy that he once served as a chief Abram. Okay, so that's who Beelzebub was. He was a cherubim overseer of a galaxy. And that title is Abram. Okay, but in the days before his fall, Beelzebub was a cherubim overseer of a galaxy. And it is the duty of the Abram, which is what he was at the time, and Sarah of the highest heaven of a galaxy to help the souls of their galaxy graduate to the next highest galaxy. Right? But Beelzebub, having been hailed as God on a visit to a first heaven of a star in his galaxy, decided that he liked being God, and he desired not to graduate the souls of his dominion, but to keep them in his realm and be their God. He then hatched a plan and began to implement it. Yea, for long ages he implemented the stages of his plan. And when the time was right, and he had many compatriots in his fall, he informed all who were in his way that they had graduated this galaxy and would be sent to the next highest galaxy, but it was a trap. Okay, and it tells us that this was the first Luciferian rebellion, which is when cherubim rebel against Elohim and Jaja. These rebellions have been few, and this was the first. So this is where the Seraphim came from, and this is also where Beelzebub came from. It's telling us it was another galaxy back in the day, back in the early ages of the Mother Ovum. And if you are familiar with the teachings from the Megillah, there are many, many galaxies inside of this huge Mother Ovum. Okay, and so each galaxy has their own Abram. And yes, in order to be an Abram, you have graduated and climbed up there to get to that seventh heaven position. And so when Beelzebub fell, he would be considered a falling angel. But the Seraphim, those souls that were in the galaxy that he tricked and trapped, they never graduated to be on no fallen angel level. And that's important because it's helping me to understand what Genesis was talking about when the sons of God came into the daughters of men. Because that's also in Genesis where it talks about these Seraphim, and they bore children. And I could never figure it out how that was happening, but they were never angels. The Seraphim were kind of like souls. I don't know if they were human creatures or what. It doesn't say that, but it does say that they were souls that were supposed to graduate. And you really got to read the rest of this story because you want to see how Beelzebub was trapping these souls. Because what he's doing in this galaxy is exactly what he already done. And if we can have this information in our knowledge and maybe get it out into the collective, then a lot of people can wake up and realize that what's happening here. So let me see something here, because I wanted to share, like I said, from Genesis and chapter 6, verse 2. Sons of God saw the daughters of men that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. And so it also says in verse 4 that there were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that. Okay. When the sons of God came into the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. Right. So this is one place in the King James Version that is talking about these Seraphim and these Luciferian, and they weren't from heaven. They were from another galaxy. Because if you keep reading in chapter 47, it does mention that Baelzebub created all these technologies on his home planet that made it so any higher beings than him couldn't even come and do anything on his home planet. He had this technology that would bombard a higher vibrational beings until they were kind of in a stupor, in a daze, and they couldn't do nothing but dream weird dreams when they were on his planet. So we need to be wary of that technology, because a lot of us might have our memories with us, but it's hard to really tap into them because of the technologies that are here. Everything that was done on Beelzebub's home planet when he came here, and he went to many galaxies. This isn't the first one. This probably isn't going to be the last one that he goes to, because what the Magdalene told us in the last video was that this is a cosmic school system and that we're all going to be tested. Okay, so one last place I want to take you in the King James is to the book of Daniel. And in Daniel, I don't know if you're familiar with it, most of you probably are. This is where Nebuchadnezzar had a dream, and he was the king of Babylon at the time. I did a little research on his name. Nebo is where Nebuchadnezzar comes from, and Nebo means God of learning. So I thought this was real connected when we're talking about a master brain, okay? But in this book of Daniel, he had a dream, and then he wanted to know what it meant, and nobody could tell him, none of his astrologers, none of his philosophers or anything. But Daniel was able to receive the dream and the interpretation. And I wish I could read the whole thing, but maybe one day I will do a whole video about it. But what I came here for was to show you a part of this dream that's going to explain about this mixing flesh with metal. Daniel starts to tell him that this image that he saw in his dream, he had a head of gold, breast, arms of silver, belly and thighs of brass, legs of iron, and his feet part of iron and part of clay. So that right there is telling us about these seraphim. They are souls that made it with the artificial brain, and had taken part in that first Luciferian rebellion, right? And they're on this beast system. They are the feet of this beast system, according to Daniel. And there's some good news in there, because there's a stone that gets cast, and it smites this image in this beast system in the feet, and it breaks into pieces everything. I'm gonna go down now to where he gives the interpretation of the dream. The fourth kingdom. So Nebuchadnezzar was the first one. I love to put this picture up for you at the end. I will. But the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh into pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all things, shall it break in pieces and bruise. So, and whereas thou saw the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it the strength of the iron. For as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. It's telling us that. And whereas thou saw iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men. So these Seraphim artificials are trying to mingle themselves with the seed of men. This is the book of Daniel. This is Old Testament. And this is prophetic. And it's talking about these Seraph Artificals and what's going to be happening in the final kingdom. Okay? We were warned many times. Okay? It says, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. Yeah. I have so many more places I want to bring you, because this just opens up the door to go to Mathew, because Mathew also said something about Genesis, right? And well, these are the red letters of Matthew, so this would be where Christ is telling us that in that day and hour knoweth no man, right? But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, wedding themselves to this machine. That's what it should have been saying. That's what it's saying. This mingling, marrying, because that's what they were doing in Genesis, right before the Noahs, right? Remember we went there? Genesis chapter 6. This is all about Noah. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord, because there were these sons of God coming into the daughters of men and bearing children, mingling the seed of men with these Seraphim Artificals. We also can jump over to, but I'm going to let you guys look at this this picture of the system, the thing that Nebuchadnezzar saw. So it might bring to your attention this whole thing. And remember the feet. And it's a timeline. It was a timeline. Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, was the head. Medo-Persia was the arms and the breast of silver. Greece was the thighs of brass. And the legs were Rome, the Roman Empire. And then the feet, it says that's Papal Rome and modern nations of Europe, right? This is today what's going on. The Seraphim are here, and they're trying to mate us with these artificial brains so that we can become enslaved light. Probably when we drop this body, we'll go straight into some type of device that they've crafted because we're afraid to die. Or we might not even drop the body. We might hook up while we're still alive. I don't know what they're going to do. But we're in this kingdom here. And the last thing I would like to read is from Noah. It talks so much about this Luciferian skyships and the banishment of them. Just real quick from the book of Noah, all the way to chapter 12 of the book of Noah is where it talks about the banishment of Lucifer from this world. And we'll just read that, a little cap of it. So it says, the 7 ships departed for Attila so as to arrive at dawn. Behold, just as they arrived at the port, the Lord and the Lady appeared in the sky above Attila. Yea, and their voices filled the sky as they declared, children of earth, the time of the banishment of the false god Lucifer has come. Then, behold, all of the seraphim were transported from their beds or wherever they stood, and were instantly within their sky ships. And this was not their doing, but the doing of the Lord and the Lady. And then the sky ships were hurled into space, far from earth. And again, this was not the doing of the seraphim, but the doing of the Lord and the Lady. Yea, Lucifer and his seraphim were banished from this world, and it happened in a blink of an eye. And lo, this happened not just at Attila, but all over the world. Yea, wherever there were seraphim on this world, they were cast away into space. Okay, so it says, behold, the laws of intervention limit this kind of intercession by the Lord and Lady. But Lucifer crossed the line of what will be permitted on this world. And if he or others again cross that line, again, the Lord and the Lady will intervene. For thus they have declared, and this word is true. Amen. So hopefully you came along all the way to the end and you've got a good idea of who these Seraphim are, what happened to them, the galaxy they come from, and Baelzebub, the first Luciferian rebellion was on his galaxy, was in his galaxy. And it said there's been only few cherubim that have fallen. So it's not like it happens all the time. But we have been assured that if they try it again, which is why we know about it and why we're being warned, the Lord and the Lady have intervened. And that's what the last two videos were saying. They have arranged for the Holy Megillah to go forth in this time to be all the help that we need that will get us to this harvest, help us to be successful. So let's keep studying. I'm going to get out of here now. And just to remind everybody that you have nothing to be afraid of, you know, and do your homework. If I'm not, like I said, I try to make as many videos as I can, but I will always try to keep posting information, maybe videos I'm watching, other channels and things in my community page to keep giving you guys something to chew on while I'm busy this season. But stay tuned, okay? And literally, I mean that. I was gonna ring my tuning fork for y'all, but I don't feel like messing with the volume stuff. And like I said, it's late. But stay tuned. Get you one of these, and you can use it to tune yourself up. Even if you have an ailment or something, you ring it, put it on it. There's tuning fork healing you could look into. That's what we're trying to do. Raise our vibration, y'all. So okay, I'm gonna get out of here. I got the Mama Moon staring at me in the window. So it's my moon time right now. I'm gonna spend some time with her in the moonlight. Okay, thanks for watching.